Okay, so introduce yourself, how old you are, what you do for a living, your family, and stuff like that
My
first.
Sure. My name is Roman Ritter. So I've been, as Erinne I think was saying before, I've been with Full Circle for about 6 months. I'm 39 years old. Actually, a few weeks or several away from turning 40, and I guess we'll talk about that because that's a goal of mine to set new records in 2021. I work in wines and spirits, which I guess the joke is that it's not super compatible with you know, exercising, working out, and having grand goals. But I guess I make that work. And
Right.
I'm married. I have two beautiful children: an 8-year-old daughter, Philippine, a 6-year-old son, Paul, who's as obsessed with as I am about sports and everything related to being outside, outdoors, and working out, and all of this.
Awesome.
And a 4-month-old lab. So a busy life. Let's put it that way.
For sure, for sure. What's your lab's name again? Your dog?
Pila,
Pila.
Pyla.
That's right.
Yes,
Yes,
the
we have to have a.
largest sand dune in Europe.
Okay, cool.
And
We'll
that's
have
where
to have
we
a play
vacation in
date.
the summer. Yeah,
Okay,
inside.
cool. Awesome. Okay, well, so tell us about your goals when you like where were you before Full Circle Coaching? Like,
Yeah. So I mean, I've always been, pretty athletic, and done multiple sports throughout my life. And rowing for many years, running a lot for the last, let's say, dozen years. And I got into triathlons about 3 years ago. At first on my own. I think I did 2018 and 2019, fully by myself, training with friends, with whatever I could find online. And I think I quickly realized that after a quick progression, right after the first 18 months, I quickly started to stagnate. And I had joined another team here based in Miami, whom I was with for about a year. And again, I think as I had shared with you, I found out that the structure was good, right, and continuing the progression and all that. But I think there's a limit to just having structure and not having everything else. And what I mean by everything else is this more holistic approach. And hence, through someone that I know here in Miami, Rodrigo, I got introduced to you a few months ago, and we started our journey together. And
exactly.
it's been a pretty complete journey, at least the first 6 months already. So with some nice goals achieved.
Right, exactly. So yes, you already had some fitness, right? So we kind of dug right in and we started with the evaluations because that's like, how am I going to do something different from somebody you've already been with if I don't know you inside and out, right? So
Absolutely.
we started right off the bat with all that. And right off the bat, having the baseline, we were able to make big strides in short periods of time. And also, you have to admit that you are dedicated to
Yeah.
seeing those workouts be green in Training Peaks.
So yeah, I would rephrase that, Erinne, and because I've come to realize that I'm dedicated. I mean, there's dedication for sure, but I'm a bit obsessed. There's a lot of that. At least that's what my wife tells me. But it works. It works. I think
Right.
you need to be a little crazy, to sometimes go all out and to
Right. But
just
you have learned the balance piece of it too. Like this week, right? You didn't do anything,
yeah,
right? So
correct.
that's the key, right? Is to have that yin yang balance where you're working in as much as you're working out and your wife is happy, right?
No doubt, no
That
doubt.
has to happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's get real. Like let's hear some numbers. Let's hear the goals you set for yourself and then let's talk about them.
Yeah, for sure. So numbers. So I mean, as you said, I think before, this was last week was Challenge Daytona, the half Ironman distance. It was my A race, and I think it was really the culmination of years worth of work, but especially as we all know, the last 6 months. And you and I had talks about setting realistic goals, right? And
Right.
I think you even brought me back to a level where you're like, don't be too ambitious. I mean, be ambitious, but don't go overboard. You're like, well, this is your first distance like this, and we need to make it work. So I was shooting for a 5:21, so 5 hours and 21 minute goal time. I mean, I don't know how detailed you want me to get, but
Oh, let's
essentially
go.
with a 2:20 pace on the swim, which is by far my weakest discipline, a 240 watts and 22 mile an hour bike, and then a 1 hour and 50 minute half marathon. And in reality, I mean, I thought that was achievable. I didn't realize that I could do better, and the day actually went well. I mean, despite a few hiccups here and there, which I think are normal on a on an event like this, I outperformed my swim time by 20 seconds, so I was close to the 2-minute mark per 100 yards. I averaged 23 miles an hour versus 22 on the bike, which I was very happy about, given the fact that I had also been holding back to make sure I had a successful run. So I know I can do better on that. So that's 2021 for you. And then I didn't do as well as I wanted on the run, but I just by a few seconds still managed to break to have a sub 2 hour result. And in the end, I finished at 5 hours and 9 minutes, which is 12 minutes mathematically, 12 minutes better than the goal that we had set together. So I'm happy. There's always a bit of frustration because I realized that I could probably do even better. But as I said, I mean, that'll be for race number 2, hopefully. But,
exactly. So yeah, congratulations. And I want to just mention a few things. So the swim has been the struggle, and that's really what we worked on the most, right? And really just getting more mobile and longer and just relaxing in the water as much as possible. And you were able to bring that time down by totally not racing hard on the swim.
Right.
So by going slower and having better form, you actually went faster. It was wetsuit legal, but that's a huge milestone. And once we get past the 2 minute per 100 mark, the next goal is the 145. And then eventually the 130. And you have a huge advantage because you're tall, right? So the taller you are, the easier it is to go faster. So we want to tap into that as much as possible. And then I wanted to talk about the bike because we don't know exactly what the mile per hour average is going to be because we use watts. So we have a power meter, and the power meter is his zone for this distance race. We're going to talk about all this stuff in the next 3 days, right? So if you don't understand what I'm saying today, you will by the end of this live. So we tested him and knew exactly what he was capable of physiologically on race day, right? But maybe the wind was better, right? There was something that happened that 22 mile an hour became a 23 mile an hour, but you weren't looking at speed when you were racing, right?
I was looking at watts, absolutely. And I had an issue with my computer, so I was on my watch instead of on the bike. So I was on the watts, definitely. So.
Right. So yeah, it's just watts. He had no idea how fast he was going, right? So that's a big thing that I do not train or race or have my athletes race by speed. It's all based on your physiological capabilities. And then the run, you had some nutritional issues, right? So I believe your run is way there. Like you could have done that 150, no problem, if you didn't have the nausea and stuff like that. And that's what happens on race day when you have a longer race. There are so many more logistics that come into it, whereas an hour-long sprint, you could repeat that every weekend and get really good at that, right? And not have all the logistical issues. But I'm super duper proud. But go ahead and mention that you did have, we started with speed, right? So I always start my athletes to try to get them as fast as possible before going long, strong and fast before long. So yeah, talk about your sprint distance improvement.
Yeah, the sprint. I mean, I did one sprint with you. I think I done 2 Olympics since we've been working together, and absolutely. I mean, as far as the sprint is concerned, what I can say is when I started my very first sprints 3 years ago, I was the ones here in Key Biscayne, because I know sprints also sometimes have slight variances in terms of actual distances and all that. But comparing apples to apples, I've been over the last 2 years, and specifically over the last 6 months, I've improved by close to 12 minutes my time on a sprint. And mind you, I mean, as we all know, a sprint is, let's call it between an hour and 20 minutes, right? So 12 minutes is a big improvement.
It's a big percentage.
And yeah, I mean, I've improved, and there again, it's been improving on all disciplines. And I think a lot of the work that we do, especially I would say, I mean, beyond the swimming portion, which we focused on, I think that the running piece as well has been huge, because we've incorporated a lot of interval training and speed work, and even the bridge work, the bridge at Key Biscayne here, that I had never done that before, and I can tell my times are through the roof versus what they were before.
And there was a lot of biomechanical issues, you know what I mean? Like we videotaped you in the beginning, and everybody has their own quirky posture and stuff like that, but dialing that in helps your performance. So that's huge. All right, well, thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything else you'd like to share with everybody? before?
No, I mean, I think the only thing is I've alluded to it and I'm saying it publicly now is I want that sub 5 hour half Ironman next year. And I've committed to you, I will do it in a Challenge Miami, and it will be luckily on my 40th birthday on the actual day. So
repeat after me. I am so grateful and thankful
I am so grateful and thankful
for my sub 5 hour half Ironman.
For my sub 5 hour half Ironman.
It's done. So it is.
Done. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Roman, thank you so much for sharing. Go ahead and participate in the Facebook Live, because then you're shouting it out and sharing your inspiration with everybody else. All right, you guys, I'm wishing you well. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you tomorrow at 11. Okay, tomorrow at 11, we're going to learn more stuff. Thanks so much, Roman.
Take care. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, you guys. Take care.